The following program is intended for mature audiences.
Welcome to McGee Uncensored Podcast. I am your host, McGee, and this episode is going to be a real doozy. Against better judgment, the other day I signed up for a dating site. Dating site's called Plenty of Fish. And in 48 hours, it caused me plenty of aggravation. It about ruined my life. Quite possibly the worst dating site ever. And that is no exaggeration. Years ago, I was on the site, and I dabbled a bit to see what was on there, but I didn't stay long. This time, I don't know why, I decided to actually give it a full go. And after 48 hours, I'm going to quit the site. I want to talk about the kind of women that I've encountered or read profile-wise on the site. And it should change its name. It shouldn't be called Plenty of Fish. It should be called Plenty of Single Mothers. Not that that's a bad thing. But every profile I'd open up and it'd be kids. And it wouldn't just be one kid. They'd have 3 or 4 kids and then they would be 27 years old. And the thing that I would run into is that I've talked to single mothers before. And the one major problem that they always have is trying to find somebody to watch their kids. So how could they date? It's impossible. I'm not blaming the kids. There's really no one to blame. But obviously, things aren't as worked out as you'd like it to be. And anybody listening, you could play the drinking game when you hear the phrase, a waste of time. Because I might say that a bunch of times. Then I advise you not to drive if you decide to play the game. I was going to say that I found the worst type of women on that site. And I don't think I would be lying if I'd say that. At all. I try to be reasonable within my search. I think 25 miles is fair. And pretty much within a day, I signed up like on an evening, and then I messaged a few, got some responses, and right now I'm just waiting a couple extra days. I don't know if I'm going to wait a couple extra days, I don't know, to see if I'm going to get a message back from a few, because I told them, I said I'm not playing around. If you want to open up a line of communication, let me know. If I don't get a response, I don't get a response. The app sucks. If you get the mobile app, well, I advise getting against the mobile app because you don't know how old the profiles are. So you don't know when the last time somebody logged in. And the only ones that you can see are the ones who are maybe online now that may be using the app. So I've probably messaged people who haven't been on in years. Because that site does a piss poor job of filtering out old profiles, and people do a piss poor job of deleting their profiles if they're no longer on the site, which is wrong. Get off the site, clean it up if you're not on there, because I look like a fool messaging you. And I do my due diligence. I read the profiles, and I must say that a good percentage of the profiles that I've read, and some of them are the single mom ones, are that they are looking for, I guess you could say, a quick fix. Even though they say, they may not mention it, and it's like they subtly tiptoe around it. Now, some come straight out and tell you. And some are downright delusional. and their expectations of what they're looking for. And it seems that that's what a majority of women are on that site. Some want to be a trophy wife, and that's a shame. That's sad and tragic. The ones that put in their profile that they are too busy to date, then you're too busy to be on a dating site and get off. You're wasting time. I really wanted to do an honest attempt this time and try to weed out all the bad ones as much as I can. And if I get that internally, if I get that, that gut instinct not to reply or not to message, I don't. I'm not going to be it's not doing anybody any favors, because you can't give somebody a false belief that something may come out of the interaction when it's not. And to be totally honest, it's a ton of low quality on there. It really is. A lot of trash. I'm sorry, it is. There's a lot of trash on there. I'm going through the profiles and I look at the picture. I get nothing out of some of that. Some of them, like there's no instant attraction. There's just nothing there. Because I kind of almost know what to expect when I open up and read the profile. And, when I get a message from Wheeling and I tell her, like, the distance, it's just not going to work. I'm not going out to Wheeling. And that's the delusion that some of these people have. They just, they think that they're living in a fairy tale. They think if some fairy tale is going to happen, some happy ending on these sites, and it's not going to happen at all. Because it's the wrong type of people. It's a free site, so the wrong type of people obviously signed up for it. There's absolutely nothing in my area on that site. Nothing that interests me whatsoever. I almost feel a little embarrassed being on the site. I don't have a hard time meeting women out in public. But lately I just haven't gone out to engage in public places. Just because it's barren around here. You know who's going to show up at the bars in this town and that town or in the area. And I'll be honest, I never thought I was ever going to meet a decent woman in a bar. Most of them all got a screw loose that I've encountered. And you can't really carry on a nice conversation in the bars anyway, because, somebody comes over and wants to interact too. And, I was like, this isn't Thunderdome. I'm not going to get into this. Go ahead and have the conversation. I really don't care. It's not that good enough for me to stay. So I've somewhat turned to an alternative, which is the dating site. And I'm not going to pay to meet people. I'm not going to pay some site to tell me to take a bunch of tests and have this chemistry matches, and then that just be a complete fluke. I really don't believe in that. For me, I always believe in an organic meeting. Something organic where I hit it off well with a great conversation and then proceed to go from there. But that hasn't happened. God, who knows when. Maybe never. Or if it has, you end up finding that they're married or they're seeing someone, which they don't tell you until the very end. Very sneaky of them. I don't know why I torture myself with meaningless banter and interaction. Things that go nowhere. I'm not into long distance. Is an hour a long distance? Absolutely. To me it is. Especially if things aren't going to go anywhere. So try to meet halfway. But that's the thing with some of these profiles. They want, and I don't think it has anything to do with chivalry. They want, the man to pretty much do everything for them. And I think it's sad. Like, where's this independence that women are fighting for? That want. Meet halfway. Let's do Dutch when we go out. Can anybody just go out and have a good time? Without having an expectation of marriage? Can't you just go out? Talk about things. I like an intellectual conversation. And I'm sure as hell not getting at the bars around here, because if you go to a bar every night, or if it's the same bar every night, you probably bring or offer very little to a conversation. Your horizons are definitely not expanded. And it's mostly small-minded people that go to the bar all the time, and when I sit there and I don't want to listen, but people talk loud enough that I overhear conversation, and it's the same thing over and over again. It's about someone, which, where does that get you, right? Talking about other people. I digress. But, obviously there's lacking in conversation in bars. And like I said, I haven't really met quality women in the bars anyway. I should have joined some, I don't say awkward, but I should join more organizations when I was in college. Things outside my major. And maybe I would have found some connection. And maybe I'd, be in a long-term relationship right now. But then again, how much fun would that be? I wouldn't be bringing you the Uncensored podcast. But what cracks me up about Plenty of Fish, women get internet muscles, and they feel that they could just say whatever. And, well, I'm over it. I really don't care. You're not going to get under my skin. I'll treat you with respect. But you have to be a bitch about things. And not that I haven't necessarily gotten that treatment, so to speak, but women who say that they're shy, I hate that. I absolutely hate that. How are you shy? Why are you shy? I mean, just stop it. I think you're just, full of shit. I'm shy until you get to know me, and there's no way I'm getting to know you online. Open up. And, I get the runaround from women around here, too. Let's meet up, and then they move around a bunch of different bars during the night, and, oh, I'm tired, I'm going home. Like, yeah, because you're old. Usually women who are shy are not very intelligent, try to strike up a conversation with a woman, and it's like one-worded answers, and that is the worst. That is the worst. See, I was a communication studies major in college. Regretfully or not. That's what I majored in. Because I thought I have decent communication skills. And I was on the radio in college, and I had a show, and that was fun. And I'm not a dominating person in the conversation, but I like to feed off of what people have to say and engage and bounce ideas off of people, especially if they're creative people. That's fun. People who are open-minded and don't get offended. Because really, in life, why be bothered by small things? Yeah, but I'm not surprised why some of these women are single when they only give one-worded answers, and they have like no thought. They're not thoughtful. They don't think about things when asked a question. And then I'll beat myself up a little bit mentally as to why I even engaged into the conversation. Like, why did I do that? I really wasn't into the person, but I don't know. That's the thing I have to stop doing, is engaging in conversation with people I just, one, don't find attractive, and two, I just know that there's not going to be anything there for me to engage with. Maybe the drinking game should include the game Engage. I'm really not desperate for a relationship. I'm not, I'm going to strictly stick to the website in this episode and not go off on a tangent on, when I see people post things on, Twitter and other social media about the relationship goals and things they're looking for. I'm thinking, well, I wouldn't mind talking to them. But, I'm not ideal. I'm not what they are into, or, not that I find age a big issue, but I'm sure that they do because they get freaked out about something, or, they're just putting all these boundaries up and all these stipulations as to why they just can't when they should just do it. That's just not worth the headache for me. It's not. And, there's probably people who join not just Plenty of Fish, but other sites out of boredom or because their friends did it, and they stay on it for just the couple minutes that they sign up for it and don't put a real effort into it. And those people I don't understand. Let's do what your friends do. Do what your friends do. Because I like nothing more than a follower. I really don't have much more reason to stay on that site. Like I said, I'm just waiting to see if I get a response. I owe myself that, to see if I get a response from a few people that I just messaged today. And if I get something, and if I don't, then I move on. It's not that big of a deal to me, because those people want to waste their time. They sure as hell aren't going to waste mine. But I thank them for the material that they've given me for this episode today, that I bring to all 3 of my listeners. But I love doing this stuff, and I'm not going to stop. Yeah, so I just have to remind myself to only engage with quality people, women, and to ignore messages from those who I just do not deem worthy. Yeah. I mean, not shallow. Well, we all are shallow. Yes, there has to be an attraction there. Obviously, there has to be. It's science, it's chemistry. That has to be there. What I'm hoping for is just a great personality, And I'm not going to use this as a dating ad. But I have to remind myself that I deserve better. And I'm not going to settle. Isn't that hilarious? I'm looking for a good time. Good people. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So until the next dating app disaster, this is McGee with McGee Uncensored. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. You could follow me on Twitter at McGee Uncensored. You could go on my boring Instagram, McGee Uncensored. And you could like my Facebook page, McGee Uncensored. Until next time.